Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back to episode 16 of Surrounded by Bourbon with me, Phil Crawford, aka Causeway Whiskey. Like I explained in the last video, this week we are halfway through the triumvirate of whiskey reviews. So we were in Scotland. Last week we had the Copeland 25.1, which was a 5-year-old Irish single malt. And so I kind of thought, do you know what? I have a 5-year-old Scotch single malt in my cabinet, and it is this, the Ardbeg Wee Beastie 5-year-old. And I thought, why not do a little comparison? Okay, different styles of whiskey. You know, this is a smoke bomb, and it's also quite a lot cheaper. I think this only cost me like $55 over here. In the UK, this is always on offer in the Bezos marketplace. I think you can get it for like 35 quid quite a lot of the time. And maybe even cheaper. And it is quite a bit cheaper than the 10-year-old in the UK, which normally retails for like 47 to 50, maybe more. In the US, here in Florida, I can find the 10 for $60, so only $5 more than that. And that's probably the basis that I'm gonna have the score of my review on. So anyway, this is my first time in Scotland for a review, and we are in Islay, a place that is sort of sacred to many Scotch heads, and especially those who love anything peated. Now, Ardbeg is it's probably one of those distilleries that's universally adored by people. The core range, I think, is pretty good. The 10-year-old is an excellent whiskey, probably one of my favourite Islay whiskies, to be honest. But they also have a few no age statements. So we have the Oloroso Sherried Uigeadail, which, you know, I personally think is a great whiskey. Then there is the French Oak Monster, that is the Corrie Vrecken, peppery, oaky, complex. Again, I really like the Corrie Vrecken. Those two are pretty pricey here in the States though. The Uigeadail I think is like $115 to $120, and the Uigeadail is like nearly $150 a bottle. Or the Corrie Vrecken, sorry, is nearly $150 a bottle. So yeah, pricey. Then they released the Anno, which was a mix of PX casks, virgin oak and bourbon casks, which I'm also actually kind of a fan of, especially if you can get it at prices back home in the UK. And then this is the most recent edition. It was the 5-year-old Wee Beastie, which when it was released was kind of pretty brave by Ardbeg, I would say. You know, I think at the time, like most of the big brands, if you've seen a young whiskey, it was maybe like 8 years old. Like Talisker 8 and so on, and even the Ardbeg 8 committee release. But to put a 5-year age statement was brave, because a lot of people would have just hid that behind a no age statement. You know, put a lot of 5-year-old in there and maybe like teaspoon it with some 17 or 18-year-old and then say it was the most wild, complex thing you'd ever drank. But yeah, so until you'd seen like some of the new distilleries that have opened up, such as Ardnahoe and Rassie or whatever, you know, 5-year-old age statements were not a regular occurrence. So kind of bravo to Ardbeg for having the nerve to do that. So how does this compare then to its kin? Well, first of all, like most of the core range, they're non-chill filtered, natural colour, so kind of the things that we like to see as whiskey nerds. I will explain in different videos what that actually means if you're new to whiskey. This is a single malt, so it's 100% malted barley, and this has been matured in a combination of ex-bourbon casks and ex-Oloroso sherry casks. Looking at the colour, I would suggest that the Oloroso component is pretty sparing, and I would also imagine that there has been a lot of second fill or refill casks in here, because this is very, very light. And to be fair, like the 10-year-old's also pretty light in color as well. But yeah, this is very light. Bottled at a healthy ABV of 47.4%. So that would be what? My math is terrible, guys. So it'll be 94.8, I guess. Proof. So yeah, let's get into the nose and let's see how we feel about this. Oh, that is good. So immediately you're hit by sweet coastal peat and bonfire smoke made with driftwood. There's very saline, there's coal tar in there as well. Then there's like tart green apples, like Granny Smith cooking apples. There's lime wedges, black pepper, peppermint. I'm actually kind of thinking of like, does anybody remember Fry's peppermint cream? I'm not sure if that's a US thing, but it was pretty, I know my mum loved it back in the day. It was a chocolate bar. We have wood shavings going on, and then bacon fat that's like smoking in a pan. The nose is really good. I really am enjoying that. That is really good. So let's hit the palate. Let's hope the palate can match up. So, for the ABV, it's kind of disappointingly thin on arrival, the mouthfeel. It's also nearly like, if you blink, you'll miss it. All the flavors are kind of up front, and then they disappear. So, let's go for another sip and see what we get. So it's a little hot and spicy on arrival. There's like fresh Thai chili peppers in there. A little on the spirity side, I would dare to argue. There's cayenne pepper. Then you get that salty maritime peat. There's salted lime slices. The green apple is there again. It's ashy. There's a minty element to this. A little bit of minerality. It's okay. It's okay. Finish. So the finish is definitely very short, but it remains like chili pepper hot. It's ashy. We're on the tart side of citrus, so think like grapefruit, sour lime, verging on to like a sour margarita nearly. Score wise, I'll take a sip before I give you that. Score wise, this is a 4 out of 10 for me. Especially here in the US, I feel as though that this is absolutely not worth the money compared to the 10-year-old. It's not a terrible whiskey. The nose is really good, but the palate, it's not that exciting. And it's the mouthfeel that really like dampens my enthusiasm for it. It does, to me, seem to be on the watery side. Like for $5 extra, $6 or $7 extra, I would go for the 10-year-old every time. The 10-year-old is a classic for a reason. It's consistently good. I don't even think that this is like, to describe it as the Wee Beastie, I don't even think it's like aggressive enough to be called the Wee Beastie. Maybe if it had a bit more ABV, like the Ugadal or the Corrie Vrecken, and it maybe hit into like 51, 52% ABV, maybe it'd give you a bit more of a punch, but I mean, it's not that beastly. I think it's like a bit uncouth, it's a bit unbalanced, it's not really complex. I think there are better peated whiskies out there for the money as well, especially over here. So in the US, if you have a Total Wines local, I would definitely look out for the Scarabus range. I think you can pick up the regular Scarabus for like 40 bucks. The cask strength is 45, the 10-year-olds maybe 50, 55 bucks. And to me it tastes a bit like Lagavulin, to be honest. So you're still getting a peat monster, but it delivers way more than this. And they're presented similarly, 46% in the case of the regular Scarabus and the 10-year-old. Non-chill filtered, natural colour. The cask strength is like 55, 56%, and you definitely know you're drinking something with that. So yeah, this is definitely a whiskey bore for me. This is not one that I'm going to replace. I last reviewed this, I think 2019, something or other. I wasn't impressed. It's definitely never going to have a space on my cabinet again. So there you go, guys, that's my thoughts. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, especially comment, get a bit of engagement going. And yeah, thanks for sharing your time with me this evening. Enjoy whatever you're doing. Sláinte, until next time. Next week will be a bourbon review, and let's see whether we can maybe get up the marks a little bit rather than a 4 out of 10. But yeah, sláinte guys, have a great night. See you again.